known as Horrorhead on Instagram, and welcome to another episode of VHSurfer's Meet the VHS Collector. You're gonna have to forgive the audio, the setup, the camera angle, everything. Recently, due to the pandemic, I lost my job and my house, and I had to move back home with my parents, even though I'm 25. I know I'm not that old, but whatever. So I actually live in a little room in this giant shed on their property. So my setup is kind of around their belongings. My parents are survivalists, so I just kind of had to make do. I am living with all the food rations and the weaponry and everything, but it's kind of cool because I can defend myself if there's an intruder, but it doesn't make for a cute setup for a room or a cute setup for Instagram. So they cleared out this shelf for me. All the food is below and everything like that. They don't like me telling people that, so so that's my room. I'm so honoured that you asked me to be a part of this. I'm a pretty active member in the VHS community, but I'm not a very liked member of the VHS community. So it's really nice to be kind of asked to do something like this and be alongside other massive collectors, especially people who have inspired me, like Yasmin, that you would know from like the Witchfinger podcast and stuff like that. That's massive to me. I'm definitely not as cool as them. I don't have great collections, and as you can probably tell by my voice, I live in Victoria, Australia. So tape collecting is actually also really different here, which is probably exciting to some, but it's very deflating when you're an Australian collector and you see all these amazing tapes available in America and cool covers, and you guys have those like cardboard slips so you can just like slide it out, and we have like plastic covers and stuff like that. It is still cool, but it's just a little bit different. So yeah, it's a massive honor to be a part of this. It's kind of nice that I'm considered a part of the VHS community, so thank you. Yeah, let's get started on the questions. I am actually not one of those people that's been collecting for a very long time. I probably started collecting VHS about 5 years ago. I kind of started horror collecting all at the same time, so I guess I picked up VHS at the same time I started picking up Blu-rays, and I started picking up DVDs and vinyl and memorabilia and stuff like that. And at the start, I kind of was one of those people that was like, I'm gonna collect everything. Like, I'm gonna get masks, and I'm gonna get vinyl, and I'm gonna get cassettes, and I'm gonna do tapes, and I'm gonna do t-shirts. And it was just like, it was one of those things that I guess I thought I wanted to do everything, and then when I kind of sat down and thought about it and spent more money and more time with myself, I guess I kind of figured out like what my niche was and what I guess brought me the most joy collecting wise. And I also really like practical things. I'm not a massive collector anymore of anything that kind of just like sits and just like stares at you. My partner's really into statue collecting and stuff like that, so we've got some of them in our house, but for me it's just kind of like ended up just being tapes and then Blu-rays if I can't find the tape and I really want to see the movie. I like VHS collecting because it's cheap. Obviously, the market is crazy right now, especially because of inflation, and isolation and stuff like that. So it's not exactly that cheap anymore, but that's kind of the reason I started collecting, because I couldn't afford like Scream Factory releases and all these things, these massive movies that people are just like buying massive amounts of Blu-rays and DVDs a week. So I guess I was just like, oh, it's like if you go to an op shop in Australia, like a tape's like 50 cents and they kind of have no idea what they're selling. So some of the like rarest tapes, like 50 cents, and you can grab them. One of the main reasons I started collecting, and one of the reasons I still collect, is because of where I live in Australia. Sometimes a movie is just like completely unavailable. Sometimes there's not even a Blu-ray master of it, or not in our region, and I know there's region free players and stuff like that, but there's certain movies that if I actually don't buy on VHS, I can't watch it. And that to me is just like so miserable that there's movies out there that people rave about that I've never seen. So that's kind of the way that I collect. I don't know if anybody else is the same, but yeah. Another reason that I like it is that it's nostalgic. I know everybody says that, but it's actually the truth. There's something really spiritual and like healing. Kind of rewind a tape, or put a tape in, fast forward, or have that physical connection with some sort of media, especially not streaming services. They don't have that homeliness. A massive thing for me is also like advertising, I guess, is part of it. I know that sounds silly, but like the beginning of a tape is probably equally as good as the film. When you put in a tape and it's not even rewound to the start of the movie like some sell-throughs are, you have different ads and you have trailers and you have anti-piracy ads. And especially for me, who's someone's really big in history and like enjoys history, not big in history but a big fan of history, kind of seeing the Australiana like grow for me is like even just like ads about R18 movies. There's just like classic Australian fashion and Australian language, and it's really like a time capsule, and I think that's probably why so many of us collect, because we're obviously in love with another era that's not our own. So this is kind of a pathway into experiencing that. That's why I love VHS. When you open a streaming service and you click play on a movie, you miss all the trailers, you miss all the pre-movie features. A lot of the times with certain VHS, there's like the Eaten Alive VHS, one of my favorite tapes ever. The start of that movie has audio from Tobe Hooper talking about making Eaten Alive, and just before the movie starts he says, "I hope you enjoy the colors." And that is probably one of my favorite things about any tape that I own, and I think about that every movie that I watch, and Eaten Alive is one of my favorite movies ever. And when Toby says that, you kind of get his vision before you even watch the movie. He's obviously really in love with the colors and the visual experience that he's put into this film, and you don't get that on a streaming service. And I'm so glad I had his words in my head when I watched that movie. It's just, that's important to me. That's why I love collecting. I'm not a big collector. This is my whole collection. I kind of started off being one of those people that's like, I'm gonna buy everything, and then I've kind of, like I said, I don't buy every tape I see in the wild. If I'm not gonna watch it, I don't buy it. I'm so sick of having tapes that take up space that aren't one that I'm gonna put in for a spin. So I'm not a massive collector. I don't actually know how many I have. I'd probably only say probably like 200. I've got boxes in my bathroom. This is just the stuff that's on regular rotation. Probably only about 200. I'm a massive DVD collector. I know that's not very cool, but I am on top of VHS collecting, so probably only about 200. I've kind of made the focus of my collecting now. I have a tape in mind, I search for it, I look it up, and I buy it. So I'm kind of always focusing on like one tape at a time. As you can probably tell by watching this and watching me read the questions, I'm a singular focused like person. I can't think about 50 tapes that I want. I watched Yasmin's video of this before this, where you talk about like what tapes she wants, and she just names like 20 tapes that she wants, and I can't even think about that. I can only think like I've got tunnel vision when it comes to a tape. I have one in mind and that's all I want, and at the moment my focus is the Video Dead. I recently bought a copy of it off eBay for $90, which is massive for me, and it came, I'll show you, it's so funny. It's not amazing condition, like obviously because it's a premiere tape, it has a reverse cover. Didn't come with the reverse cover, didn't come with the holographic design on the front, and when I put the tape in to watch it, it's this movie called White Sands with Samuel L. Jackson. It's like a rom-com. So obviously I messaged the guy and I was like, just letting you know, you sent me the wrong movie, that I'm determined to get the Video Dead. I'm determined. I'm gonna get it so I can finally watch it. I talk about this one all the time on Instagram. My most prized tape will always be my copy of Extro. It's in the most beautiful clamshell. It's not obviously in the greatest condition, but that's life. This is my favorite spine that I own. It's my favorite cover. It's also my favorite Alien movie. It's just the best movie ever. This is such a good movie, and I spent so long not watching it, and then I just sat down and I watched it and I was like, so experimental and unique. So this one is definitely one that I hold close to my heart. This is my most prized tape. I love it very much. I should probably get multiple copies because something's gonna go wrong. I don't actually own many rare tapes in Australia, I guess because of the community. For example, the Fright Night coffin case VHS, that obviously is a holy grail for a lot of people. I don't know about America, but in Australia that goes for like $400, which is like, I'd probably say $600 to $700 USD. That's too much for me. I'm not paying $300 for a tape when I can go buy the Blu-ray or the DVD. Obviously the coffin case is absolutely divine, and if someone gave it to me, I'd be so happy. Rare tapes in Australia are like really rare, and some people blow a lot of money, and I don't have that. I live in my parents' shed. Money is not something that I have a lot of. So on the list of still need and Holy Grail items, obviously Video Dead is now at the top of that list. I also really want a copy of the Killbots release of Chopping Mall. I think it's the German release. It's the green one with, it's called Killbots on that release as opposed to Chopping Mall. I'd love that one just for the sleeve. I'm also really looking for a copy of Cannibal Holocaust. Cannibal Holocaust is my favorite movie of all time, up there with Eaten Alive. It's like Eaten Alive and Cannibal Holocaust. I would kill for a copy of Cannibal Holocaust. That movie means everything to me. I'm thinking of ordering like a bootleg off someone because I know I'll spin it like crazy. Definitely Cannibal Holocaust, that's my holy grail. I still need so many tapes. I don't own most of the Friday the 13th franchise. They go for like $300 now. Also, the Chucky movies went for like $400 on eBay the other day. I'm kind of accepting my impending doom of financial rut due to this addiction, but that's okay. definitely the people. I know everybody says that, but it actually is the truth. When I started my Instagram account, I was kind of like, ooh, I'm being really, not like I'm being really edgy, but I guess like I thought it was going to be something really weird that a lot of people would make fun of me for in my real life. And then I found that there was actually people out there already doing it, and I was like, holy shit, like I'm not alone. Like obviously I'm not one of those people that thinks I'm like the biggest horror fan in the world, but it was just nice to know that there were people out there that had that same internal monologue of like, hey, I really like movies. Hey, I really want to talk about movies more. There's no one in my life that wants to talk about 70s Italian slashers. How am I going to do this? I guess I'll just talk about it on Instagram. And then found all these amazing people, especially like you. People out there that really want to keep Rewind or Die alive. Like people that are really fueled by their VCR. And that's a really cool thing. It's a really cool thing that there's so many people out there that are so nostalgic and so driven by nostalgia and driven by, I guess, that feeling of that childhood freedom that we all had. Like I have such fond memories of even just like trying to get a tape to work with my dad while we're watching like even ads, like rolling through the ads on a program that he'd recorded for me and stayed up till like 3 a.m. to record for me. I remember my real dad stayed up recording the Excalibur like animated series for my brother and I that was on at 3 a.m. one night because we didn't want to miss our episode. Like, I don't know, really physical media has that love to it, and VHS has that, like, really reminds us of our childhoods. And I know it's so depressing that we're so focused on the past when there's so much good in the future and in the present, but I think it's one of those things when you have a rough day, you just kind of want to come home and give your VCR a little cuddle. You're gonna see this footage and just be like, I'm cutting all of it. I'm so nervous and I just don't want to seem like a total loser. I know I am, but don't tell anyone. Coolest thing I found in the world was definitely my CBS Fox Aliens release. I found this bad boy at a weird military op shop in like this rundown mall in my hometown. Shout out to Baronia Mall if anyone Australian is watching this. And there's like only 2 shops left. There's like this weird Chinese shop that you know you're gonna get food poisoning from, and then this one military op shop. And it looks like one of those 80s malls. It's so cool. Everything is circular. Everything is ugly and brown. It's so sick. And I found this. It's in really good condition, which was massive, and this was when I started collecting, and clamshells were a dime, like that, not a dime a dozen, were really rare, and finding this for 50 cents or whatever I said it was, I think it was 50 cents, was just like, fuck yeah, I hear stories about people finding really good tapes in the wild, but that just ain't me, but it was me. I guess I collect horror and older cinema, things like older films like Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, anything Hitchcock, even if it's not like all of Hitchcock's presents and stuff like that, even if it's not like his horror days or his slasher days or whatever, or his thriller days, anything like that. I'm also a massive Mary-Kate and Ashley fan. I have a stack this big right now to my left of Mary-Kate and Ashley movies. That's what I grew up on, so collecting them is really important to me. And another thing that I've started collecting is I've just started watching wrestling. 25 years old, got a new boyfriend, and well, he's not new anymore. He showed me wrestling. So I've started collecting VHS. These are some of my fave wrestling VHS, and I got a Stone Cold Steve Austin one, and then a WrestleFest from the 90s, and a SummerSlam. This is just massive to me, to be able to chuck one of these on like before bed. I love that. Also, I've started collecting adult films. I'm only human. I love porn. I've got the Kama Sutra. I've got especially like 90s and like retro, I guess, adult movies. I bought this one the other day, which was really nice. This is a sexy 1996 swimsuit spectacular. Love it. I'm sorry, I'm dying. I need water. Last but not least, the one thing that I'm also starting to collect now is Australiana, or anything Australian. Kangaroo VHS. A lot of kangaroo VHS. Australian animals, things like that. Crocodile Dundee. Making care packages for other, I guess, VHS collectors is something that I want to start doing. So I've been collecting, I guess, the most obscure Australian VHS to kind of put in little gift boxes and send to people. I bought Crocodile Dundee for my friend Madison, and I actually bought some Arnold Schwarzenegger tapes for Yaz, actually recently. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I've been collecting some bodybuilding ones and stuff for other friends. So yeah. Trades I don't really do. I shouldn't say that, but it's the truth. People don't want to trade anything in Australia, and if they do, they want like Slumber Party Massacre original release or something like that for a kangaroo video. It just doesn't work like that here. They want hundreds of dollars. The most recent haul that I got included these two bad boys, which I've been looking for a while. Got the Roadshow home video, House by the Cemetery, which is a Fulci film, and I got Hell Night, which I haven't seen. I still haven't watched it yet. That's the media release, which I really liked. I think one of these came with mold, so I'm gonna have to clean it off, which really pissed me off, but that's life. Neither of these. Yeah, but they're my two most recent pickups. They were really good finds, and in my opinion, pretty good nick. So I was really happy to find those. I don't remember my first tape. I'm sorry. I think it was actually Sister Act. I don't have that anymore. I gave that away. But I think it was, yeah, I think it was actually Sister Act 1 and 2. Because I was like, fuck yeah. I love nuns singing. And it's actually really funny. When I cut down my collection, Sister Act didn't make the cut, but we remember her fondly. Yeah, that's all the questions. Answer them in 20 minutes, which is either gonna fuck you up editing wise or gonna be a breeze because you can just not edit it and leave all the stupid shit that I said in. Thank you so much. It was a real honor, and honestly, I love VHS collecting, and it is something that brings me a lot of joy and a lot of fun. And on a final note, if anybody comes across any copies of Atlantis that they want to give me, I'll take him. I am starting an Atlantis collection, and every time I see it, I buy it. I've got multiple copies of this. This is the movie that I'm talking about. If you own it, please give it to me. It's my favorite movie ever. This is the sequel, not as good. This one, best movie. Also, if anyone wants to sell me Cannibal Holocaust, I'll give you my firstborn child. We can do a Rosemary's Baby kind of deal. Thank you for having me, man. So sorry. Lots of love. Rewind. Have fun. Feed your VCR. I love you. Also, go eat some Vegemite. That's all I have to say. Beware of kangaroos. Love ya.